Welcome to the CFG Game Cast, episode 250, a weekly podcast created by streamers and gamers alike to discuss the latest topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode every week and release it on all podcast services on Mondays. So show us some love, give us a like, a follow on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, or write us a review as we would greatly appreciate it. Or you can go to our main website, comfreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am your host, Smitty2447, and with me, my amazing co-host, Pop No Tarts, and this is Lex. Pop, how have you been? How was your week? I know we missed last week. What have you been getting down on?
Right. Outside of being a little under the weather, I've been on things such as the shadow drop of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, awaiting the release of some upcoming games like Monster Hunter Wilds, which has a beta next weekend. I was supposed to go to a trip with a student next week, but my travel did not get approved because I'm a part-time employee, so I can't get approved for trips. I don't get paid in January, so I can't get approved from trips until I'm on payroll, which is not until this month. So, that's cool. On the bright side, I'll be in Washington in March, Tacoma, Washington, to go to a conference with some students. And the best part, it is the week after spring break, so technically I get 2 weeks off in March.
Yo! Is it Washington State or Washington, D.C.?
It's Washington State.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Gorgeous out there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I haven't been, but I hear lovely things.
Oh yeah, you gotta check out the Pacific Northwest. It's gorgeous out there. It is wet.
I know
out there, but you've got a lot of like if you like woods and stuff like that, you would like Washington. Yeah,
that was a part of Houston that I liked. We had a little area near my house that was very woodsy, and we didn't have a lot of mushrooms you could forage for that were edible. They were mostly dangerous, but I loved watching the rain like hit the tops of the mushrooms. And Washington has the puff mushrooms, and it just sounds so magical. And I am as tiny as a child, as I learned this weekend. I would love to just run through a fairy ring and hope beyond hope that they come and snatch me in the night, you know? Because why not?
Why not? Exactly.
Why not?
Pop, are there any other games that you've been messing around on or anything?
Well, a little bit with Dynasty Warrior Origins, getting my new Game Plus run done with that. I'm still on the fence on whether I want to plat that game or not. I'll see how many trophies I have after New Game Plus. I mean, when I finished the game, I was halfway done. I was just like, maybe I should plat it. And I'm just like, you know what? I'll wait until I do New Game Plus. If I'm a couple of trophies away, I'll go ahead, bite the bullet, and get it. And if not, it's cool. I have plenty of other games that I've platted. Been on Zenless a little bit. Been saving up, farming to get materials for Astra, as well as saving up to get materials for their upcoming character, Evelyn, which I believe drops. I think she drops on Valentine's week. And I'll be returning to, well, I haven't left, but I'll be returning to Phantasy Star Line 2 NGS because there is a new UQ boss that is story related that's coming out. But they have some fun solo quests for us to do to hold us off in the meantime. So I'm going to be trying to get that done.
That's what's up. I know that some of the like Zenless, was it Zenless Zero?
Zenless Zone Zero, yeah.
Zenless Zone Zero, yeah. And those games, like I've never like hopped in on any of those because those very much have like gotcha mechanics, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you have to. I mean, obviously, knowing going in, you could stay away from it if you want to. But it's nice so that those games are actually, fun enough to, for people to want to play and continue playing and stuff like that, even though it's got that, the gotcha mechanics and whatnot. So nice. Yeah. And I wasn't sure if you were going to say
Brain freeze.
And of course, as always, Lex, my cyborg, what is going on, my friend?
Oh, just got back from Disneyland.
Yeah!
Woo! Finally got my Disneyland trip. So last year I was supposed to go for my birthday, and I had a family member going with me. It was an all expenses paid trip. Like I already had it all expenses paid. And Adam was gonna go with me because he was the other recipient of the Disney gift card that we got for Christmas from Grams. And he said, I don't like roller coasters. I'll absolutely go with you, but I think you would have more fun with someone else. So here. And he donated his Disney gift card for the other person to go on this trip free of charge.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they bailed on me and ghosted me 2 weeks before. So I just didn't go. And all year last year, I was like, oh, who do I ask? But we had a family member who at Christmas or at Thanksgiving, we had a little cry sesh because we both had a lot of things going on. And I talked to Adam. I was like, I think I should ask cousin Casey if she wants to go. And he was like, oh, that would be fantastic because she's twins and they're 4.5. And I'm sure she loves going with them, but it's a different experience to go with another adult who also loves Disney. And so at Christmas, I was like, hey, girl, Merry Christmas. You're going with me to Disney for 3 days. If you want, free of charge, all expenses paid. Don't even have to pay for travel. I will cover gas. She was like, okay. So we planned it, and we both had said we'd never stayed at a Disney hotel. So we didn't just stay at one. We stayed at both. There's 3, but we stayed at 2. So we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel and then switched to the Spa Hotel. It was so cool. It was so fun. It was a blast. And spoiler alert, I fit into children's clothes. So I kept picking up things. I'm like, oh, this is a really cute fitted sweater. It was child size. And I realized that all of the adult smalls were like really big and baggy. And it was too cold for that. That's like a summer, it's a little chilly at night kind of thing. No. So I went all out and I just bought all the clothes I wanted that I saw. And they were children's sizes. And I'm not ashamed about it. And it was funny because at the hotel, they do pull down service. Didn't know that. And we didn't love the thing on the door. So they made mine all cute for like a little kid and saw that there was a big old bottle of Seagram 7 that maybe one of us, it wasn't me, was getting into. Because look, it's your vacation. If you want to flask it up the whole park, I'm not one to tell you no. Just don't make me drag you back to the hotel at the end of the night, And they made her bed like an adult and gave her 2 chocolates. I only got 1.
Oh, wow.
But they folded my clothes and left them on the end of the bed. And I was like, why did they? Oh, they thought I was a kid. And that mom's getting down partying. So it was funny. But we had a blast. I saw some Instagram people I follow who are millions of followers. I was like, oh, hey, I like your stuff. Okay, bye. And, it was cool. I had so much fun. But Adam says this is Becky Lynn's time to shine. This is what he calls my raspy voice. So, hey-oh. Yep.
The crazy part is that she never even asked me if I wanted to go. I'm just throwing that out there.
I didn't. Because look, we're besties and we've shared
roller coasters.
Do you? Well, I know that you were going to do a family trip, and like, how messed up is it me?
I don't give a shit.
But ask you and not Kat. I know. But, that's the problem. Because I had all year last year I struggled with it. I was like, I could ask Smitty, but like, would Kat be upset? And I could ask Kat, but then would Smitty be upset? And it was a back and forth thing. And then
you should ask Kat. Get her out. She needs to do shit. She needs to do stuff.
I know. And listen, I'd been saving up on top of the free Disney trip. I've been putting money away. I didn't spend all of it, so maybe I have another free Disney trip for somebody. if they want to go with me. I don't know. I'm just saying. But here's the thing. They also have to be cool with, I'm slow moving. I'm up at 7 a.m. and out the door by 8 person because I am disabled. Things have to happen before I can leave. And also, I schedule in an extra day when we get there and an extra day after in case A, we want to do another park day. Why not? And B, just in case both of us are dying at the end of it and just need a day to like lay in the hotel and sleep, before we travel back. So, yeah, it was fun. Also, did you know you can rent motorized scooters now? Even if you're not disabled.
Oh, I did not know that. No.
Party, and you bring them in. Zoom, let's go.
That's right, Zoom.
Missed opportunity, but it was like already day 2 at like 10 p.m. when I realized that dad is like running back and forth, keeping his kids entertained while mom is single riding it on that roller coaster. They got him and brought him in. And so I took photos of the rent me. So next time I'm ready.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Good.
But you know who didn't get to go to Disney this week and is mad at his bestie for not inviting him? His name is...
The 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. Me.
So how are you doing, Smitty?
I'm doing well. It's been a solid week. We're gearing up at work. Obviously, we've got the Super Bowl that is coming up. Yeah, that is a thing. Yeah, not this week, but it was next weekend, I believe, next Sunday.
February, I think the week of Valentine's or right next to it.
Right before it, yeah.
Also, when are they going to rename the Chiefs? Sorry, but not sorry.
What do you mean?
That's not unless you are part of the Native American. Like Chiefs is a chief is very high up there in their, they renamed the Redskins.
Well, I mean, that one's
pretty
pretty
in a different situation where they recognized it, and for some reason, the Native Americans there are okay with it.
Yeah, it's like I understand the Redskins because like that is blatantly like, you can't get away with that.
From my understanding with the Chiefs, they came to an understanding.
Oh, did they?
I think they don't use the mascot in the same sense that the Redskins did. But
right.
Yeah. Around the time that the whole politically, like you guys should do this, both teams were on the line at the time, and it seemed that to me people of the Native community were equally upset with both names, obviously one more than the other, but it was a thing. So I did not know. Apologies. I will shut my trap. Woo, sports.
I can't speak for those outside of Kansas, but for some reason in Kansas is a little
I find because it's like the same thing.
I had a student bring it up because I used to, well, I still do sometimes, but at another university I work part-time at, we talk a lot about, we have a section on appropriation and popular media, and they brought up the Kansas City Chiefs, and they were like, I can't believe everything that I found. There's like, even though I find it as a form of cultural appropriation, they were like, I can see the other side because, they're not using derogatory images. The main issue is the fans coming in and dressing in a district. Yeah.
Right.
That's the main issue there. And they were like, they understand the other side where it's just like, okay, the team obviously understands where the name comes from. And actually, like, the history of the name is related to someone who was called Chief, and he was Native American. It was like made to honor him or whatever. But it was a very, very interesting rabbit hole to fall into.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a rabbit hole I would like to fall into. So I will do that this weekend.
Yeah. Other than that, though, just been chilling out. Obviously, getting some Marvel Rivals in, getting a little bit of ranked in. I'm back on Once Human again as well because I wanted to try out they had their snow scenario and whatnot, which was different from the original scenario. So that, I've been enjoying that, and I got some things cooking as well, both at work and then some behind the scene things. So stay busy, baby, stay busy.
Nice. I'm like, wait, are you under an embargo and can't say, or
a couple things I am.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, other things are things that are just in the early stages, so I don't like to jinx things.
Right. No, I get you. I get you. Okay.
Yeah, but
I'm sure
we
you'll
got
you'll
some
tell
things
me.
cooking. Yeah, we're
Nice.
doing some things. We're doing some
Sounds like he's a
stuff.
little extra sleepy today. He's been doing something extra. Like, what
What do
is
you
it?
mean?
You're a little sleepier today.
Am I?
A
Everyone keeps saying
little.
that. I think it's the pen that I got.
Probably. You're a little slow moving today. Which isn't a bad
Oh,
thing. But I've seen you take a few pauses. I'm like, he is resetting. It's okay. It's a restart.
oh,
You blue
yeah,
screen for
no.
a split sec. It's fine. We all do it.
But let's get into the topics
Yeah.
though. Obviously I'm gonna start out here. I think this was one of the bigger topics that happened here this week. But if you did not hear about it, we found out here, was it a couple days ago, that Midnight Society, the dev team behind Dead Drop, it was actually the dev team that Dr. Disrespect co-founded with some folks,
Oh,
COD and stuff like that. Yeah.
okay.
So they've been working on a game called Dead Drop. Like I said, it is a FPS PvPvE extraction shooter. I've heard good things about it. I hadn't gotten my hands on it or anything yet, but it looked good. It looked clean. Obviously, the folks behind the game are folks that were in the, you know, in that sphere that know about Call of Duty, that know about games like this. So it had pretty high expectations. It's unfortunate though. You know, I feel like this is multi-pronged. Number one, you had the issue with Doc at the end of last year where, you know, it had come out, there was that kid that went and said that he had the tea on why Doc was banned on Twitch, and then it turns out that he had messaged somebody that was underage, some inappropriate stuff, but legally, I guess nothing was able to be done.
Mm,
Twitch still banned him.
yeah.
You know, based off of, you know, obviously it was egregious enough for them to make that move. And that was after they had just signed a big contract with him as well. So kind of one of the ripple effects of that fallout was, you know, when that came out and he said that stuff, Dead Drop, obviously they parted ways with him, even though he made it seem like, oh, I'm stepping away because I don't want this to affect the dev team and stuff like that. It did. And enough so. And again, this is kind of one of those weird situations because, you know, within the last couple of years, we've had a ton of teams and just in the video game industry be super volatile in terms of developers and companies just downsizing things that overbloat from COVID years into things normalizing and stuff like that. So I don't know how much of an effect the Doc stuff really had, because if they were already in that trajectory, the game isn't even out yet. For them to be like, you know what, we're gonna take a step back. We're not gonna move forward with this. We're closing down the studio. I'm thinking that the game was already in trouble. Number two, I know that there are people that I can't remember if they had a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or what, but there is definitely, I'm pretty sure, people that paid money into this to get early access and stuff like that. So again, it feels on one of those platforms, you do that stuff at your own risk. But for anybody that put money into this, I feel bad for them as well. Not only that, but you know, obviously the dev team and the people that were working on this game, to see all this work go into a game, for them to just be like, you know what, we got to walk away. We're done here. You know, it just sucks. It just sucks all around. And again, I don't want to try to put the blame solely on the Dr. Disrespect stuff, because I think they were already in trouble. I don't know how much that stuff really affected their bottom line and them being able to finish this game. But it sucks all around, for any kind of studio and people to lose their jobs and just to see a game that people were enjoying not come to fruition. So
Right.
I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were on the whole situation. This also I wanted to mention too that this came, they released that the same day that Doc was remonetized on YouTube. So take that how you will.
Yeah. Okay, number one, I thought you were discussing the game and it's not even called Midnight Society. I was going to look up what it was called, but to me, it was called Midnight Society. And it had a similar logo to Doc's, but it was that game. We played it with, I think you played it too. Oh, there was a bunch of us that played it. But there was like a bunch of lore with it and there was a whole story. I thought it was that. So excuse me, I'd pulled up all that to remind myself of it, but I couldn't find the name. Do you know what I'm talking about? We played it with JTZ.
It was with JTZ?
Yeah, he and AJ Ann were like really into it, and some other people. Oh man, I'm trying to remember what it was called. Adam probably knows.
It wasn't Deceit, was it? Or
but we did play that.
There's something else.
It's in my library, but I will remember it here in a moment. Like you said, who knows if it's related to what happened and what is going on with the game. And also, when you put money into something like a Kickstarter, because you said this one was on Kickstarter, right?
I think it was on something yes.
Similar. Yeah, there's no guarantees that what you put the money in is going to happen, right? So always put in money only when you think that always have the expectation that you're never getting something back, because sometimes you do and it is not what was promised or the expectations that you had. You're disappointed, right? So as an adult, I've found to have low expectations for everything or just not expect that money back at all in the form of a product, right? So only donate to Kickstarters or things of the like when it's money that you don't care if it never comes back. I don't know. I have my thoughts on Dr. Disrespect and what he did, and he incriminated himself because, he could have kept his mouth shut, and the guy who said, oh yeah, I worked for Twitch and this is why, and the messages were inappropriate, and then he confirmed that later. Why? I don't know. But if the person was a minor, they might have sealed it. But you can look up people on the internet and find if they were charged with something. And if I remember correctly, he wasn't charged with something. So either the minor themselves didn't want to press charges. That's a whole thing. Are they related? I don't know. I'm sad for the people that aren't going to get a finished product. You said it was good. I'll take your word for it. It's not something I played. But, it's always sad when a company goes down. Am I sad for this one? Not on Dr. Disrespect's end, but for the people that worked there before the knowledge of whatever. Yeah, like that sucks. You put time and effort into this, whether you were being paid for it or not, So that stinks. I have mixed feelings. I feel bad for the people that put time and money. I don't feel bad for Dr. Disrespect, and I'm shocked that he's remonetized because that's Predator territory. Nope, sorry, don't like him. He's 7 feet tall, so I'm good. That man is terrifying before the knowledge of everything came out. Standing next to him at 5 feet. I know what it looks like for Adam to look down at me. I look like a child if I threaten him, like, ooh, I oughta, as a joke. Okay. But that man, I look like, a 7th grader to him.
Come here, little doll.
I'm a pant, he could pick me up by my hood and just move it, No, And then the whole messaging a minor and no, predator. Sorry. Sorry,
Yeah.
not sorry. I don't feel sorry for him. He reaps what he sows, and I'm shocked he's being monetized again. Sorry.
The thing
Should be on a
about it,
registry.
too, though, is that he was no longer even a part of this team.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying I feel bad for them. You know, they were paid, they put time and money into this. But again, are the two things correlating? I don't think so. But they're not saying why they are going under, correct? Like that's still kind of.
No.
Yeah, that stinks. Like, did you not get the funding? And also, if someone's putting into it, you have to be transparent with them. Like on Kickstarter, if you put money into something, for instance, like there was a whole makeup collection that was coming out for like Lisa Frank, they had to be transparent every month that it wasn't released. Like, hey, this is what's going on. We're so sorry that we didn't release it. There's some technical issues and we'll get it out as soon as we can. Like they have to legally be transparent, and if they're not, Kickstarter will throw your money back. So I'm confused as why they're not being transparent or coming out and just saying it. Do you know what I mean? Like that always seems shady to me. If you didn't get the funding right off the bat in that time frame you needed it, why didn't you say that? Why didn't you do like more fundraisers for the game? Or do you know what I'm saying? Like this feels like we're about to hit tax season. So maybe they weren't saving as a company, keeping that money they're supposed to pay out for taxes, right? Like that's what's kind of popping into my head, which if that's the case, shady, again, speculation. I'll shut up. I'm sure Pop has thoughts.
I don't know enough to have thoughts, but I do remember seeing that he was reinstated on YouTube, and I was like, yikes. I just read it. I was just like, yikes. I don't know what transpired for them to do that. Maybe like Lex had said, no charges have been pressed, so YouTube couldn't enforce that action for as long as they have wanted to. Because they've had people get outed in the past and they're completely gone from the platform. But guess what? You can find those files online, those charges online. So until some charges are made or until more information is found, it's looking like he's still, just that random thorn in the side that we're all going to have to unfortunately hear about through the grapevine every now and then. I'm not going to lie to you. I completely forgot about him until I saw that tweet. Because my timeline's been very, very clear. Also, with the studio shutting down, it kind of reminded me of what I had saw where someone was just like, the gaming industry is seeing tough times, and then someone said tough times for who? Because Japanese industries are thriving right now, and they basically said all of their Western counterparts that have had to shut down, it's because they got in the way. There are laws that are in place that prevents the headquarters in Japan from stepping in. One case in point being what happened with Sega and their Q&A team, where they were working towards a solution and then completely just, they couldn't do anything because of what was set up.
Right.
That situation makes me think about this. The gaming industry is going through so much. I'm like, for who though? It looks like it's just a thing over here in the West where other places seem to be doing fairly well.
That's a good point. Yeah,
because laws and things are affecting them here and on their West Coast in the West, but not there. Like they're doing fine overseas, but you can only do so much as the main company for your, what's the word that I'm looking for a second base elsewhere if the laws in that country are changing, right? Or the taxes are changing and all of those types of things. Not to be into politics, but it all kind of like links in at some point, right? Like, so yeah, and they can only do so much. I mean, they could offer them jobs back at the main headquarters, but some people don't want to, pick up their lives and families and move overseas if they can't be remote,
Yeah, it also makes me think about how important it is for companies to work together. Like, Microsoft for the longest time has been trying to build a relationship with Japanese developers, which they're starting to foster that, but I'm just like, how much more time is going to be needed for that? Because I think EA recently had some layoffs recently. Yeah. Microsoft had layoffs closer towards the end of the year last year. And I'm just like, how long is it going to take before, how long will it be until we see like a golden age on both sides all around?
Also, the game I was thinking of, the Blackout Club.
Blackout Club.
Okay. Yeah, that was the game that JTZ was like all into, and a few of his people were really into, and so we would play that. I thought you were
never played
on that one night.
No.
Okay. But that's the game I thought we were talking about, because in my brain, I named it Midnight Society. Because when you meet somebody and you're like, oh, my name is Matt. And you're like, you should have been named Ryan. You're definitely a Ryan, And in your brain forever, you're like, oh, hey, Matt. That's the game for me. For some reason, I had that like, oh, it's Midnight Society. I don't know. I read a book called that, so maybe I I don't know.
On a brighter note, I wonder if all the people that supported the project, even before, the things with Dr. Disrespect came out, I'm pretty sure people have fostered some amazing relationships under this specific community. So, I mean, I hope that they get refunds, but at the same time, it's just like, projects like this can foster a network that'll last a lifetime and will help you in other avenues. But hopefully anybody that was working at that studio is able to find work somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's interesting. We'll see what happens. Also, too, the other founders, maybe they'll move on and do something else separate of this. But as of right now, Dead Drop will not be seeing the light of day, unfortunately. So that sucks. Pop, what do you got?
Well, I don't know if anybody has been on Steam recently or noticed anything new in the Steam store, but the Sims 1 and Sims 2 have been shadow dropped as a re-release on Steam, fully playable on your Windows 10 or 11 PCs. I know a lot of people were upset that they were re-releases and not remakes or remasters, but I don't think it's needed. You get a legacy collection that comes with all of the downloadable content that was out with both games. It's from what I was able to go through so far. I'm in the EA Creator Network and I got approved for keys. From whatever I was able to go through so far, it looks like there's a new engine that they're using for these games to work on modern hardware. And it's one of those things that made me think about other games that could use a re-release and that would work perfectly fine on modern hardware. But I'm actually glad that The Sims 1 and Sims 2 are back out. I have nothing against The Sims 4, but there are some charms that the Sims 1 had back in 2000 and that The Sims 2 came along with 4 years later that cannot be... what's the word I'm looking for? These are charms that just cannot be replicated.
Yeah.
Each Sims game has its own charm. Yeah.
I get
like The Sims 4 has its own charm. Sims 3 absolutely had its own charm with the open world and being able to travel around. But The Sims 1 and Sims 2 had their own charms that just... I'm excited to be making some content with both of these games and going through some of what happened. Because I was really, really young when these games came out. I was in first grade when The Sims 1 came out, and I was in like 5th grade when The Sims 2 came out. And it was just one of those games. I saw my mom playing all the time, and I would watch her like bait Sims. She would have me like make houses with her and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also some things that they took out in The Sims 4 that are available in Sims 1 and Sims 2. Yeah, like the robberies. I don't recall if Sims 4 has alien abductions. It's been a while since I played it. I'm a little behind on the packs and things. Sorry about that, EA. But yeah, they did. There were some things that were taken out that were a thing in the OG version of the game. One thing I did find interesting when I was on Steam, it looks like some people had some issues with the Sims 2 with crashing and things like that, but I was able to run both games fine. I didn't come across any major issues. Another cool thing I found out is that the mods that were available for both games back then are still easy to use now, and they work. Nice. Yeah, EA have confirmed that old mods and old save files will work.
That's sick.
So,
nice.
That's crazy. Yeah. That is. How much does it cost, or how much do they cost?
You can save $10 and buy both for $39.99. I believe the Sims is $19 and the Sims 2 is $29. So
nice. See, what's crazy is when I think that's the year we moved to Houston, and I didn't have a computer that ran games like The Sims. I was still on floppy disk era, okay? I was still playing Wishbone and The Amazing Odyssey. I still didn't beat it, okay? I don't want to talk about it. Or like the 4th grade Jumpstart, the witchy one. That one was good. I would play that over and over. I didn't care that I was no longer in 4th grade. It was fun. But so I'm looking at visuals of what The Sims 1 looks like. And people saying that it needed to be remastered. No, it didn't. It looks fantastic. It has that nostalgia of being Sims 1, but it doesn't look like a 1992 game, right? Like where you're like, right. Oh, that's Lara Croft. And you're like, oh, the brown pixel? The square? No, it didn't need to be remastered. And I love that the mods work. I didn't know how mods were created up until, I don't know, 2018, because I didn't play Sims, and my cousin had it. And when I would go over for, someone's birthday or whatever the case was when we first moved back, her and I were not friends quite yet, but she would play and I would have to sit there and watch. I was not allowed to play. And so me and Sims, I love watching people play Sims now, but back then it was a no-go for me. I was upset with that game. Me and it had a beef and it didn't know that. So I agree. It did not need to be remastered. I love that the mods work. I have friends that would mod for Sims 1 and 2. And now I understand, because I was at Disney this week, so I couldn't quite be in on the full conversations that were being had, but they were losing it on the socials. I was like, what's happening today? Like, why are they all excited? Now I know. So they were like, well, we're going back to creating mods. I'm like, girl, you still create mods. What do you mean? So now I get it. Now I get it. But that's awesome. I'm happy for the Sims community because y'all are awesome. I don't play, but I started watching Phenom play. And I was like, oh, I think watching her Phenom play Sims is what got me into decorating my house this last year. So thank you, Phenom.
Oh yeah, I would totally. So one thing I did when I was super, super into the Sims 4, me living on my own, I would put like a lot of ideas for my apartment in my Sims. Right? I was like, okay,
test it out,
That's awesome.
How do I know if I like it if I don't test it out? And when you're young, you don't have money to buy another bucket of paint, So like, let me test it out here, see if I like it, and then move it to the real world because I'm on a budget. Yeah, and being on a budget is fine, but that's like a great way, Now if I mess up and I don't like the paint, I can buy another bucket. But back then, no.
I know.
Yeah, Poppy says Sims 1 and Sims 2 definitely didn't need a remaster. They have the nostalgia that made us fall in love with the series. People just want everything remastered these days. Like, please no, certain things don't need to be touched. I agree 100%. That's like that's like Space Quest. for me. There's
Don't
something.
change it.
Yeah, there's something
If it ain't
nice
broke, don't
about.
fix it.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like, excuse me, it was
A
good.
lot, yeah, and a lot of the remasters, I'm telling you guys now, for whoever's creating the music for some of these remasters, stop. The original music is like before like the screen would come up, the music would start, and you're like, oh, and your little heart would pound. It still gives us that effect. Don't change it. Maybe near the end of it, give it like a new little upgrade, but leave the original to be had to give you that same feeling. And I know the younger generation is like, but wait a minute, you guys have enough new games. Shut up. Sorry. And you can enjoy this too. And like, just leave it. Stop it.
Another thing is sometimes people will want to remaster or remake in order to, you know, remove the jank, and I'm not throwing them under the bus at all. I love their games, but Ninja Gaiden 2 Black came out and the camera is still god awful. And I don't know what it is with Koei Tecmo games, but the camera is your biggest, and the camera is the final boss. It is the secret hidden boss in any Koei Tecmo game. I played Neo 2, Wolong, every Ninja Gaiden, Dynasty Warriors, you name it. The hidden boss is the camera. But that is their charm. It's something that you play around. So if certain companies don't like, so not even certain companies, certain games have that charm where some of the jank that you have to play through is what builds character. It's what led us to loving a game for both its pros and its cons, its beauties and its flaws, and it's a real, true, holistic view of how a game is and should be.
I agree.
Yeah.
And that also, it's funny you say that, because last night I was having a separate conversation about something totally else, not related, but someone had recently said like, oh, you're not doing this in your life. You need to suffer like I did. No, I don't.
That's crazy.
I don't. You chose to do that in your life, and I'm happy for you. At the end, it all worked out. But you want me to suffer through life for the next 18 plus years? I'm good. Thank you, but no thank you. So, you know, getting some of the jank out so that it's playable. Because some games back when you would buy them, you're like, I can't even get past the second level because I can't see what my character's doing due to the camera. And they fix it a little. That's fine. Love that. But don't take out what made the game lovable in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
Don't take the fuzzies off
sometimes, of it. And sometimes the jank wasn't even jank. It was just the game was too hard for us, and we didn't realize how difficult it was.
Wow. Pop said, "Get good, Lex." I know, okay, but
I'm just thinking about that with games like
I'm teasing,
like Sonic Adventure 2. It is, in my opinion, still a janky mess, but playing it while older, it's just, you know, there are certain skips and things that I know. I'm just like, you know what? I realized that the jank is to make you play the game in a super creative way. You have to big brain your way through it. Yeah. Absolutely. Nice. True villain is absolutely the camera. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Kingdom Hearts. Oh my God.
Listen.
And Donald.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 got remastered, and Donald was still the ultimate villain.
He was. I didn't get to play that series because I didn't have the equipment for it, and my mom didn't have the money. And I was like, I'll play it when I'm older. And when I got to play it on PC, Smitty watched me go through that mess. Davis was like, I hate Kingdom Hearts, but listen. I was ready to choke out Donald, and at the end of it, I made friends with him, and then the next one, he was just as bad. But
he's great in 3. I don't know why, but I have a clip of him in 1 where I was either playing 1 or 2, but I have a very old clip where I'm dying. I proceed to die, and then I hear the heal animation as I'm dying.
I too have. Yep. I feel you. I get it. Hilarious. And I don't know which one has the cards. as if that's like 1.2 or something, people are like,
Oh,
you
that's
should skip that one. I didn't.
Birth to Sleep. That's like the one of the
There you go.
in-between games. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Donald, he would do that right as you're dying quite a lot. That was fun. No, it wasn't. But yeah, that damn Donald, indeed, Poppy.
All right, good stuff with The Sims. Glad that and that's out now, right?
Yes, it is out now.
Nice. $40 will get you both. Right there. Lex, rounding us out, what do you got for us?
Well, if you were a Bloodborne player, this is a little upsetting for the community. I liked Bloodborne quite a lot. It was stuck at 30 frames per second. We have now the PlayStation 5 and Pro, and Sony has never gone back and made it 60 frames per second. Why? That's a great question. But don't worry. People make mods. We were just talking about that. And there was a lovely gentleman, Mr. McDonald. He made a mod that made it work on PC at 60 frames per second. It was tested. It worked. And it's been out for about 5 years now. And Sony just hit him with a DMCA. Why now? Right? That's the question everyone's asking. And unfortunately, we don't have an answer. But speculation is like, well, obviously they're going to new Bloodborne remastered. Like, what's happening? Because the creator even met one of the execs who's now left the company, and he told him, I make mods for PlayStation. He said, oh, I said, I made the 60 frames per second mod for Bloodborne. And he laughed so hard. And that he tweeted that with the photo of him meeting the gentleman, and he still didn't get hit with the DMCA. And, but now he is. And what I'm confused about is there are emulators now, and Sony seems to be playing nice with third-party companies so far. And Digital Foundry released a video covering a breakthrough in PS4 emulation where they made Bloodborne fully playable start to finish at 60 frames per second. And could that breakthrough have triggered the aggressive response from Sony? Maybe. But Digital Foundry, as far as I know, I read it, I went through all the things. They don't seem to have a DMCA against them at the moment, or a cease and desist, right? So I'm a little confused by it, and so is the Bloodborne community. It doesn't stop you from using it, but the DMCA that he received was like, you have to stop sending out the links. You can find old links, just saying. But yeah, it like, why would you not want your game to work properly on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, and so on when they have it available for PlayStation 5? How? I don't get it. But I was curious I know Smitty didn't play Bloodborne. It's a really cool game. It's like Victorian era Gothic. You're a hunter and you come to get healed at this town. Just give you a quick synopsis. And they're like, oh, we'll hire you as a hunter, like give you a contract to be a hunter. He's like, I already am, but okay. And then you realize quickly that, oh, there's another problem. It's not the werewolf population. They're trying to turn humans into something else. And quickly things devolve. It's really neat. It is a great game. If you've never played it, go for it because it's great. Crafty, real quick, says, it's bizarre how Bloodborne has not been ported to PC yet. It would likely make so much money. Absolutely. I'm waiting for it to come to PC. And at least at 60 frames to play. I have yet to play that game. I can't do 30 frames per second. Sorry. I get it. Neither could I. Couldn't finish the game at 30, and I played it all the way through at 60. It's fabulous. That was about 4 years ago.
Why is it such an issue to play at 30?
It's a little janky. The fights are... Crafty could probably say it more eloquently than I can, but it's kind of janky at 30 frames. If I hadn't played something at 60 frames per second, 30 probably wouldn't have been a big deal at the time. But I had already been playing at 60 frames per second, and so going back to 30 was a bit weird. The fights just aren't as good. Soapy says it was my first platinum trophy. It just, it's not as fluid. At 60 frames, it's very fluid to play it. Whereas at 30, you're like, I put out a finishing move, I hit him. It's not, like things aren't lining up properly. If that makes sense. Yeah.
It's a Soulsborne game. I'm good.
I know. I played Bloodborne and tried to get into the whole Souls. Nope. Couldn't do it.
Nope.
Bloodborne was my one and only. So
Wolong is my one and I still haven't finished that.
Yep.
I got stuck at Lubu.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I got stuck at Lubu.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not a very fluid game.
Because I know I've got other friends too that have talked about. They swear by this game and how good it is. So at least, I mean, if it makes things more fluid and easier for people to play and enjoy, good for them. I am over though, like all these remasters and remakes and what I mean. It's like make a new game. Just make a new game. Just make a new game or, create a sequel in the series or whatever. But,
I'm ready for the year of reboots next year.
Yeah, I know. Like, I feel like, the last couple of years have been heavy in the reboots and remasters. I'm in the same camp as you, Pop. Like, I thought it was ridiculous that they remade Horizon Zero Dawn. I think it was Horizon Zero Dawn. I was just like, what? Like, why? Like, nobody, like, what?
Yeah.
That seems so weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm so ready for games like Crazy Taxi that are getting fully rebooted. And people are just like, oh, yeah, these remakes. I'm like, no, it's a reboot because it's continuing from the previous game. There's a complete difference.
Exactly.
Right. And I'll be honest, that's kind of my thought. I don't think they're going to remake Bloodborne. I think they are maybe going to be making a second and not even touching the first. But I'm looking on Reddit and people are like, yeah, it's pretty jarring to play at 30 frames. If you go from 60 to 30, and then there's one or two out of the conversation of 5,000 saying, I think it's okay. And they're like, well, what other games do you play? They're all games that are at 30 frames. So they're used to it versus, if that makes sense. It's just very jarring to play it at 30. And it kind of makes you like when you first started playing like really big adventure games as a kid on PlayStation 2. I don't know if anyone else had this problem. It was almost like I would get seasick or car sick after playing for a bit when I had to be the one to move the camera around. That's kind of how I feel when I play Bloodborne at 30 frames.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I'm like, I can maybe play 10 more minutes. I can stop.
I wouldn't be surprised if they made a Bloodborne 2 similar to how when Koei Tecmo came out with Neo 2 and they did a collection. So you get to play the first game on a modern console with like improved graphics and performance. I could see them doing something like that, and that would be that would definitely be the way to go because it seems like that collection itself, Koei Tecmo did very, very well selling that collection.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic game, and there's a lot. I'm not on a lot of Reddit things for gaming because I get that everywhere else. I don't need it in another spot. But yeah, people love the game, and we just play it as 60%. And just port it from our PlayStation to the PC, and then pop in the mod, and bingo bango, you're good to go. And I enjoyed playing it much more that way than on controller in front of my TV. I couldn't finish the game, but on PC, I did. So, and they don't have it on PC either, which I mean is PlayStation, but
it's kind of crazy though.
Yeah.
You would think
It makes a lot of money.
They would make a ton of money doing this or having this on PC.
And I know a lot of people have speculated that they were waiting for the creator to then be like, I'm ready to fix the frame rate and or to come out with another one. So I think that might be happening. I'm crossing.
That might be. Yeah, that might
be
be
it, because this is the first time I've seen Sony do a DMCA strike like this in a very long time.
right.
Specifically for a mod.
Yeah.
And especially the fact that they've like literally been in communication with this person and whatnot, and it's not been a problem. It's like, all right, you guys are definitely doing something that does that essentially.
Right. It also reminds me of their recent announcement of pivoting away from live service titles into more single player experiences, and that's starting to line up.
You don't say.
Interesting,
Yeah.
Sorry guys, if you keep the link, I have it saved somewhere. I'm not saying I'm going to spread it out. I'm just saying I have one. It's easy to find. Just do a little Googling. It's your best friend.
There it is.
I didn't tell you nothing. I ain't say nothing.
There it is. But good stuff. That was that good to hear that stuff's going down and whatnot as well. So I don't remember how we wrapped the show.
I don't either.
I can't think of how we
It's when we do our but I can do it if you want. I can wing it.
Do you remember?
No, I don't, but I was going to wing it real fast. If you want to wing it, go right ahead.
Wing it.
If you want to hear the voices.
So that'll do it. That'll do it for us there. Good topics as well. Don't forget, check us out over at comfreaksandgeeks.com. Also, you can subscribe over on YouTube as well as other socials and things like that. So don't forget to listen to our sexy voices. Ooh, I think you're muted, Lex. Anyway, from myself, Pop, and Lex, have a great week, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Boom. There we go. All right, let me stop.
I absolutely agree. No, I said 8. Oh.